Tell us why you are here, who you're talking to here.
Well, I am one of the representatives for this General Assembly from the United States. President Obama appointed me and I was confirmed. But what I'm primarily here to do is talk to as many of our coalition partners and potential partners, particularly Arab states, and convey to them that the only way we're going to have the public support in America for the action that's going to be necessary to defeat ISIS is they've got to be all in. They've got to be fully committed both militarily and financially to this battle.
Do you believe that they are? Because I mean, we saw this resolution today passed at the Security Council that President Obama was chairing, where they've made significant promises, at least on paper. I mean, you have countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, promising to make it illegal to fund terror groups, to track citizens who may be going to try to fight overseas.
And 5 Arab states participated, and were willing to do it publicly in those airstrikes.
Right.
Is that enough? No, but it's a good first step, and we need to continue to draw them into complete commitment and involvement.
How do you go about making sure that they are in for the long haul? Because the United States is talking about, I mean, this is a multi-year operation. With there's no end in sight, really.
Again, for my part, I'm as an elected official, I'm trying to convey to them that my constituents, the only way they'll support the long-term effort in America to really save their bacon. Let's face it, it's an existential threat to Arab regimes. It's a threat to America, but it's an existential threat to them. If they expect America and Americans to support that effort, they've got to be fully committed. And I think we just keep pounding that point home, and hopefully they will understand that that's true, and they will step up.
The new Prime Minister of Iraq was interviewed by Christian Amanpour yesterday, and one of the things he said is that U.S. needs to do more. They need more airstrikes. I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, this is a country which has a military of some 250,000 people. Even if only half of that military can actually stand up and fight, it's stunning that they have not been able to retake really any of the territory that they've lost to ISIS.
It is. Well, it's depressing.
Did they get it?
It's depressing. Now, I think we've already seen that there's certain divisions of the Iraqi security force that acquit themselves quite well. There's some special operations that certainly there in the refinery and Mosul Dam operation. So I think there are, but again, Maliki basically got rid of the professional corps, put in his cronies, and it hollowed out that military. I mean, that's obvious. So we're going to have to stand it back up.
They had guys paying to become generals in the Iraqi military under Maliki so that they could essentially rake in a lot of money. It was a very lucrative position.
And what I keep going back to is in 2007, when in that surge, there were about 6,000 to 8,000 members of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. I mean, that's really the successor organization. We had about 100,000 Sunnis working with us, about 100,000 Iraqi security forces, and 160,000 American boots on the ground. Now, about 35 or 40 of those are actually involved in combat operations. That's what it took to defeat 6,000 to 8,000 Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Now we got 31,000 ISIS members. They're better trained, they're better equipped, they hold territory, they're financed. We've got a big problem on our hands here, and I think President Obama, I think he's saying the right things here in New York today. I think we're seeing the Arab states taking the first steps. But this is going to be a long-term effort, and I think the most important thing that we have to convey to the American public is the truth. We have to be forthright. We've got to let them know this is what the threat is, and this is what it's going to take. And we ought to be doing a step-by-step process. This isn't a 2-week battle where, it's like in a movie where, okay, we come up with a strategy and ISIS is defeated. This is going to be a long-term battle, and ISIS is only one group that threatens America.
Well, I mean, if, we had 10 years of training Iraqi security forces with tens of billions of dollars, many billions of dollars, and again, thousands of U.S. forces helping to train them and equip them, and still they weren't able to stand up to fight. Are we going to be able to help this process?
But here's where we made a big mistake, by not leaving a stabilizing force to force that coalition to remain in place. I mean, in the end, it really is a governing solution here. You need the Sunnis, you need the Shia, you need the Kurds, you need those people, given the time to govern together, to work together, to start developing the level of trust, which obviously they didn't have. They came together in the surge, but then that trust was utterly broken.
But would a stabilizing force, even of some 10,000 U.S. Troops, been able to basically force the Prime Minister Maliki to do something which he clearly was opposed to?
I think so, because Maliki needed actually a larger force. I mean, originally we were talking about 24,000, and Maliki needed a large force from his standpoint to protect himself against the Sunnis. The Sunnis needed a large stabilizing force to protect themselves from the Shia. So I mean, it really was that it enabled the trust-building process to go forward. When we pulled out, trust was broken. Maliki broke it, and so we're going to have to rebuild that trust that took a long time in 2007 to build. So I mean, we're right back to ground zero, probably even worse because the trust was already broken once. So it's going to take a long time to rebuild that trust. But if we step back, if we're not willing
Do
to
you see doing this
involved,
without U.S. forces on the ground?
I just don't see how that's going to happen.
You think it's inevitable that if we continue down this road,
if the goal is to defeat ISIS,
it's going to take U.S. forces?
I don't see how we can do it any other way.